And I have more interesting news and a CEO that will be joining us in half an hour. But before the CEO joins us, we're going to talk a little bit about the news and we're going to break it down right now. Now, remember, Rich TV Live is strictly for information education purposes. Please do your due diligence, do your research before you invest in anything that we talk about or discuss here on Rich TV Live. In saying that, we love to bring you undervalued, underappreciated, underexposed opportunities first. It's what we do best. And I believe we've got a company here that has incredible fundamentals. And I think the future is extremely bright. And we're going to go through why. We're going to go through some of the news. And then we will have the CEO join us at the top of the hour, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We will be live with the CEO of Ayurcann Holdings. Now, in the meantime, what I want to do, let's just quickly go through some of the news. Let's go through that right here that broke yesterday. This is the news that broke yesterday, and let's go right to the news. Ayurcann Holdings Corp has entered Saskatchewan with National Cannabis Distribution and begins investor relations initiatives. This is the big breaking news. I want to just get this video edited here real quickly. Let me just put a thumbnail in. Give me 1 second, and then I'm going to break down this news for you guys right here while we are live and interactive. All right. Hope everyone's having a good day. Hope you all having a good week. Been a very choppy week so far to start this week, to say the least. All right. All right, so let's break down this news. Ayurcann Holdings Corp has entered Saskatchewan with National Cannabis Distribution and begins investor relations initiatives. What do you guys think of this news? I thought this is big news, and for anyone who doesn't know, the symbol of Ayurcann, as you can see right here, is AYUR. Symbol for Ayurcann Holdings is AYUR. Let's take a look at this. You guys see my sign right here? AYUR. That's the symbol of Ayurcann Holdings, AYUR in Canada. In case anybody didn't know, let's get back into the news. So AYUR in Canada, 3ZQO in Frankfurt, Germany. And the last time we were live, we were talking about the Frankfurt listing. It is now listed in Frankfurt, and next should be America. So stay tuned to that. So Ayurcann Holdings Corp is a Canadian cannabis extraction company specializing in the processing of cannabis and hemp for the production of oils and various derivative products. It is pleased to provide details on a wholesale distribution and supply agreement that is previously entered into with National Cannabis Distribution, NCD, a wholly owned subsidiary of Kiaro Holdings Corp, whose symbol is KO on the Toronto Stock Venture Exchange, for exclusive wholesale distribution and supply in the province of Saskatchewan. This is what the products look like. So Ayurcann Holdings Corp strategically, little by little, now entering in the recreational market in Saskatchewan with National Cannabis Distribution. Under the terms of the Wholesale Agreement, NCD will act as the exclusive provincial wholesaler and distributor of Ayurcann, its subsidiary and or its intermediaries, to authorize private retailers in Saskatchewan for an initial period of 2 years. The wholesale agreement will initially encompass Fuego and Vida branded products and will be amended to include new product offerings as they become available and approved for sale in Saskatchewan. Unlike other Canadian provinces, Saskatchewan has a private wholesale and retail cannabis distribution model, stated Ayurcann Chief Executive Officer IGAL SUDMAN, who will be joining us shortly. Our partnership with Cairo and NCD provides us with a clear route to market and is a strong endorsement of both Ayurcann's approach and product offering. We're very pleased to be working with Cairo and NCD to allow Ayurcann to further expand our distribution network and introduce more consumers to our brands of premium cannabis products, concluded Mr. Sudman. National Cannabis Distribution is focused on curating the best assortment of products for our retail partners, and we look forward to offering Ayurcann's product lines to the Saskatchewan marketplace, stated NCD General Manager Brent McFadden. Now, in addition to that, Ayurcann has engaged investor relations initiatives, which means more eyeballs on the security. Ayurcann is excited to announce plans to further develop market awareness for the company through leading international and Canadian marketing firms. The company has identified firms specifically for their ability to assist with generating a greater following through increased awareness and attracting new investors, utilizing various outlined platforms and methods of engagement and calling on their various relevant established relationships. To the best knowledge of the company, none of the firms engaged have a direct or indirect interest in the securities of Ayurcann or any rights to intend to acquire such an interest, except as disclosed herein. So let's talk about some of those companies. Fundamental Research Corp. Ayurcann has entered into a 6-month marketing and consulting contract with Fundamental Research Corp, FRC, to provide a broad Canadian and international audience information on various social media platforms and facilitate greater awareness and widespread dissemination of the company's news. In connection with the engagement of FRC, the company will pay FRC a monthly fee of 2,000 Canadian for 6 months for an aggregate total of $12,000. Proactive Investors North America. Ayurcann has engaged Proactive Investors North America, Inc. to provide ongoing editorial coverage and to record and publish video interviews with Ayurcann's management team. Proactive's engagement is for an initial period of 8 months at a total cost of 15,000 Canadian. Wow, so they got a whole bunch of firms getting on board. Discreet Media Inc. Ayurcann has entered into a 3-month public relations contract with Discreet Media Inc., a company that specializes in public awareness and brand development for emerging industry-specific growth companies. Unlimited will facilitate awareness and public relations for the company. In connection with engagement of Unlimited, the company will pay Unlimited an aggregate fee of 35,000 Canadian. So that's 3 new firms that they're hiring to create visibility for Ayurcann Holdings. Ayurcann Holdings Corp is a leading post-harvest solution provider with a focus on providing and creating custom processes, pharma-grade products for the adult use and medical cannabis industry in Canada. Ayurcann is focused on becoming the partner of choice for leading Canadian cannabis brands by providing best-in-class proprietary services, including ethanol extraction, formulation, product development, and custom manufacturing. About National Cannabis Distribution, Inc. NCD is a division of Cairo and a leading wholesaler in the province of Saskatchewan, the only vertically integrated province in the Canadian cannabis market. NCD distributes to 2/3 of the market share in Saskatchewan and continues to build a solid portfolio of products with a commitment to providing craft, artisan, and boutique licensed producers a proven path to market with Saskatchewan. With multiple exclusive distribution partnerships in Saskatchewan and strategic future planning, NCD has positioned itself as a leader within the cannabis supply community. About Kiaro Holdings Corp. Based in Vancouver, British Columbia, Cairo is an independent omni-channel cannabis retailer and distributor. Through existing storefronts across British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and Ontario, a wholesaler distribution division servicing Saskatchewan e-commerce sites in Canada, the United States of America, and Australia. And plans for continued national expansion, Cairo is driven to introduce new and experienced customers and consumers to a lifelong exploration of cannabis. With more than 70 years of collective retail and wholesale focused experience, Cairo's leadership team has a proven track record for growing brands across North America and plans to open multiple retail locations nationwide over the coming years. So that's the news that is circulating on Ayurcann Holdings Corp. I wanted to bring you the news first. That's just what we do here, and I wanted to break it down. All right, let's take a look at some of the messages here. How big is the market in Saskatchewan? That's a good question. We can ask that question to the CEO when he joins us. You love the set. Thank you very much. And let's take a look at the price of the stock. So we're going to look at the price of the stock right now. All right, so you can see the price of the stock is at 18.5 cents. Now the highest it's ever been is 37.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the high, 37.5. The lowest it's been is 12.5. We're currently sitting at 18.5. So we're much closer to the bottom than we are to the top. This is a company that has a tight share structure, growing revenue, and is now engaging multiple investor relations companies to help them with their engagement, help them with their visibility, help them with gaining more retail and institutional investors. So you would think that that should have some effect on the stock. So we'll see what that does. Now, I must remind you guys that Rich TV Live is strictly for information and education purposes. Please do your due diligence, do your research before you invest in anything that we talk about or discuss here in Rich TV Live. Now, what I want to do is we're going to take a look at where it's been, where it's at, and where it potentially could be going here with the fibs. So you can see with the fibs, based on where it's been, based on the high, the low, and where it is right now, you can see we are down at the lowest percentile. So you're literally trading this stock, buying the stock at the lowest it's ever really traded. The lowest it's ever been is 12 cents. It's right now at 18.5. So it's pretty close to the bottom, okay? There's a lot of room for growth. And you can see here, for us to go back to its all-time high, there's incredible opportunity for investors. You have an opportunity for a multiple. So essentially, for this stock to go back to its all-time high of 37.5, which I don't think is that big of a deal for this company, you would literally double your money. So that's pretty interesting as an investor. Now, remember, we're strictly for information, education purposes. I'm not telling you to buy the stock. Go consult a financial advisor, get their opinion on it, and make sure that before you invest in anything, you absolutely love the stock and you're very interested in owning a position in the security. Love to know your guys' opinion on the stock. Ayurcann Holdings Corp. I know that this is a company that is very new to a lot of investors. People maybe aren't aware of them yet, and that's why we're talking about it. It's exactly why we're talking about it. We want to always be the number one place on the planet that everybody goes to find about companies first. Okay, and what we're going to do is show you their website as well. All right. So this is Ayurcann, as you can see, their services for manufacturing and their marketplace. So let's just talk about it. So Ayurcann extraction and refinement. We offer extraction and refinement services, including bulk extraction, winterization, fractional distillation, and terpenes extraction. Bulk oil sales. We pride ourselves in providing a gold standard quality of bulk oil for manufacturers and brands. White label manufacturing. From initial product development to commercialization, we have the knowledge and experience to successfully bring innovations and ideas to the market. Medicinal cannabis marketplace. Safe, consistent, and high quality medicinal products for patients. This is what their products look like. Who we are. Ayurcann is a leading post-harvest solution provider with a focus on providing and creating custom processes and pharma-grade products for the adult use and medical cannabis industry in Canada. Quality control system, 100% satisfaction guaranteed, highly professional staff, accurate testing processes, unrivaled workmanship, professional and qualified. All right. And try the Ayurcann Advantage. Why Ayurcann, extraction and refinement, bulk oil sales, and white label manufacturing. Certified manufacturers, standard processing license from Health Canada, research and development license from Health Canada, amendment to standard processing license to allow. For sales to provincial distributors and retailers, you first approach in-house research and development, flexible production, experience and expert team, availability of turnkey solutions. And you can see some of the brands. And offering personalized level of care, medicinal cannabis marketplace. So you guys can see, Ayurcann Marketplace is dedicated to bringing our patients a safe, consistent, high quality medicinal cannabis that is unique to each patient's need. Offering tinctures, vapes, and topicals. You can see some of the products here. Now, this is an industry right now that is very heavily oversold. The cannabis sector is very heavily oversold. And I'm not sure why, to be quite frank. I don't know why. I don't know why they're so heavily oversold, but they just are. And as an investor, I think that's a great opportunity. Early Biz says, never heard of them before, but I'm looking for a cannabis company to add to my portfolio. Well, I think this one has everything you're looking for. They've got tight share structure, growing revenue. They seem to have news consistently coming out. They're now hiring a whole bunch of IRPR firms to help increase their visibility. So they're gaining exposure. And then when you look at the share price, it's close to the bottom. It's close to the lowest it's ever been. So as an investor, do we really get any better than this? Right? I mean, we're looking at the stock and you can see, and we're going to show you again, it is close to the bottom. And I can show you other cannabis companies that look very similar that are just sitting at the bottom. There's so many right now. I mean, I can go show you some of the biggest ones. Take a look at True Leaf Cannabis. So True Leaf Cannabis, look at this. This is the most profitable cannabis company, period, in North America. This is the most profitable cannabis company in North America that I'm aware of. You can see that it was as high as $67 February 3rd. It's come all the way down to $30, despite the fact that their revenue continues to grow. So this isn't a revenue miss. This is a sector problem. The entire sector is heavily oversold. The entire sector is heavily oversold. When the leading revenue generating cannabis company in North America, whose revenue just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, is going straight down, you have to assume the entire sector is heavily oversold. The question is, where is the bottom? It's very difficult to predict. So we have to really pay attention to the news. We have to pay attention to the fundamentals, and we got to pay attention to what's going on in the entire market. And overall, the cannabis sector, the cannabis market is growing despite the fact that all the stocks are going down. And it's not just True Leaf, and it's not just Ayurcann Holdings. They're all going down. Look at Tilray. Tilray on the NASDAQ. Look at this. Tilray went as high as $67 on February 9th. It's now at $11. Really close to a 52-week low. So a lot of these stocks are going lower and lower and lower. Definitely the lowest it's been this year. You can see it's actually been as low as $4 when you think about its 52-week low. So it still has a little bit of room to go down, but you can clearly see that this trend has been down. And it's interesting because one of Biden's mandates was to, really legalize cannabis in America. And to be quite frank, ever since Biden has gone into, the administration has gone into control in America, these cannabis stocks have been trending down. And I can show you cannabis stock after cannabis stock that all look the same. This is another one of our picks, Crow Generation Corp. has been a huge success, had these huge move up. You can see this huge move up before this collapse. And there's no reason for this to collapse. The company's revenue continues to grow. The company continues to grow. There's no reason for this other than the fact that the entire sector is heavily oversold. So as an investor, you need to kind of learn to read between the lines and recognize that some of these companies are starting to get into really good buy zones. The question is, what will be the catalyst to turn this around? And that's very difficult to predict. It could be anything. It could change in a heartbeat. It could change tomorrow. Something could get legalized. Anything could turn this around. You just have to assume it's going to happen here relatively soon because everything is very heavily oversold. Now you could see that we were last September a little lower. So we could see these stocks even go down further before another correction. And you can see last year, a lot of these stocks started to correct around November. So maybe we're going to see a little bit more downward pressure and aggressive selling for the next month or two. And maybe we see a huge jump in November. I don't know exactly when it's going to turn. I just know it will. And when it does, we'll be right here talking about it. So I'd love to know your guys' opinion on that because it's very clear to me that this entire sector is heavily oversold. Heavily oversold. And you can see here with Ayurcann, based on its all-time low and its all-time high, it's sitting right near the bottom. So it's trading 23% higher than its all-time low. So maybe there's 20% downside. But what's the upside from here? For it to go up back to 36, 37 cents, that's a multiple. That's 100% gain from here. So what I see as an investor is an opportunity, maybe 20% downside pressure from today's prices, but an upside of 100% or higher from today's prices. That's what I see. Love to know what you guys think. If you guys see the same things that I'm seeing. All right, let's see what Early Biz has to say. The problem I have with cannabis stocks that there's so much competition that brings the stock price down. That's a great point. There is a lot of competition, and that does bring the price down because what happens is when companies start getting competition, they have to lower their prices of the cannabis. And when you lower your prices of the cannabis because of all the competition, that also lowers your revenues. So what could be happening here is that companies are not reporting as big of revenues as anticipated because their profit margins are being lowered because of all the competition in the marketplace. The other issue is that there's been a lot of talk of legalization in America. I know Biden was one of his mandates. He was going to legalize cannabis. And since he's gone into power, there's really been no talk of legalizing cannabis. So it's as if the entire sector is asleep and investors are just getting bored. They're pulling out their money and they're buying something else. So as an investor, you need to be aware of all of the variables that are occurring and happening in the marketplace. But in saying that, this is one of the companies that I like the fundamentals of because they've got a tight share structure, growing revenues. They seem to be making a lot of acquisitions and partnerships with companies that I also believe will help grow their revenues. And they're doing all the right things as far as trying to gain exposure by putting themselves out there, getting on different platforms like Rich TV Live in front of as many retail investors as possible. Now, obviously, that's very difficult in a marketplace where there just isn't any momentum. But as an investor, you always want to ask yourself, do you want to get into a stock before the momentum starts, or do you want to wait for the momentum and then get in for the win? It's always difficult to decide as an investor. Love to know what you guys think. Early Biz says they look like they have a lot of growth potential, but I want to see more expansion in another province and maybe in the States for the future. They actually are expanding into the United States. So they are going to be doing work in the United States as well. So when we get the CEO on our show shortly, we will talk about that. So they are expanding into the United States and they're expanding across Canada. So they will have their hands in all of North America. So there will be a lot of potential here. And I think that this is a company that, in my opinion, is very undervalued, very underappreciated, and very underexposed. And you can see with its chart that it went up, came down, came back up again, and is now starting to kind of grind down like a lot of other cannabis stocks. And there really is no reason for it because, to be quite frank, the cannabis sector overall is growing and it will continue to grow, and people are not going to stop consuming cannabis. So, in my opinion, we will see this sector continuously grow over time. However, there is going to be a lot of volatility in the stocks, which is what we see right now. Lots of volatility. And what will be the catalyst to turn it around? I don't know. I don't have those answers. Maybe we can talk to IGAL SUDMAN, the CEO, but I do know that this company is hard at work doing all the right things to position themselves so that when the sector does pick up momentum again, they will be ready. Now, the question is, as an investor, are you looking to get ahead of the curve, or are you waiting for the momentum to turn? Are you waiting for a trend reversal, which is always a smart way to trade as an investor? Or are you looking to get in dirt cheap so that when the sector does turn around, you're already up big? And I mean, that's really what we're all trying to decide as investors. Early Biz says, looking at the website, everything looks positive. Yeah, and that's what I like to look at. I like to look at the fundamentals of the company, the share structure, the revenue growth potential, the management team. And the fact is, this company has zero debt. So there's a lot of good things happening with the company. So very, very, very excited about this company. I think this is a company that has a lot of potential, and I think everyone needs to be aware of this company. Now, we should have the CEO, IGAL SUDMAN, joining us literally in minutes. Oh, there we go. There he is. IGAL, how you doing?
Fantastic. How's it going?
It's going fantastic. Good to see you today. Hope you're having a great day. And I was excited to talk to you about the big news that you guys just put out there. We've been talking about it. You guys are now doing business in Saskatchewan. Tell me about
this. It's one of many that we're hoping to engage very shortly. We've had conversations and we talked about it prior, that we're talking to the OCS, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba, New Brunswick, and BC, and finally came through. It does take a little bit of time to get into the rec space, but I think that things are falling into place as we hoped, and things look good, especially with the value proposition that we're bringing to market and the brands that we are associated with.
You guys seem to have a lot of news, and the news just keeps rolling in. It's really impressive. What is the company's vision about bringing brands and products that the company is looking to distribute in Canada?
Yeah, so we try to find like your sort of best of breed type of brands that we can work with, both internally in Canada as well as externally outside. So we signed with Green Bee out of California. It's a woman-led brand that is award-winning in various different cannabis cups, especially on the topical side. We signed with Her Highness out of New York. They are actually distributing in various states in the U.S., Nevada, California, Oregon, I think New York as well coming. And they bring something to the table that majority of brands in Canada don't have yet. They're very specific to the pleasure side of women, and the way they anticipate of bringing products. They liked what we're offering and the structure. And we are working on bringing that forth, coming, I guess, hopefully soon. We have some conversations with the OCS about them as well. We talked to Ayurcann, as you can appreciate, very forward coming brand in Germany and out of Israel, with a lot of studies behind it for topicals. And obviously, we're working with Bazelit as well for the highest potency type of terpenes product that we're going to be introducing as well.
Will these products be available solely to those registered to your newly launched marketplace, or will the company target the recreational market as well?
It's much easier, obviously, for us to put it up on the marketplace. So that's going to be readily available there as soon as possible for any patient that has a prescription and can register with us and buy it. When it comes, we're producing a lot of products and we're introducing a lot of products to the boards. It takes a couple of months of their due diligence in order to incorporate new and innovative products, but we've had a lot of positive feedback. So I think it's going to be both on the recreational and on the medicinal space.
Fantastic. Now, Ayurcann's new partnership with Cairo opens the recreational market in Canada, starting in Saskatchewan. Could you elaborate a little bit on this for us and what this means for the company?
Yeah, so Cairo is, has their own stores. Obviously, they own the NCD distribution in Saskatchewan, so they have access to all the stores. We find that working with them through Kindred, we have a broker that is or a marketing agent, I guess, that is pushing the products and introducing the products not only from the boards, but also going and educating the bartenders in each individual store that is going to carry it to have a lot of sell-through. So Cairo is very proactive. They keep on buying stores throughout Canada. I think the last transaction they've done, I think they bought 9 or 10 stores in Ontario. So we feel that that relationship, they're happy with our products and the price points as well as the margin that they can attain. So being introduced into Saskatchewan when they have a lot of control over the distribution. Opens up the door to a lot of other distribution and relationships that they have, as well as we have throughout Canada.
Fantastic. There's been multiple M&A, mergers and acquisition activities in the industry. Is Ayurcann looking to participate in this?
So we always look for opportunities. We've had discussions with a few. Nothing, is happening right now, but the industry is consolidating. I think best of breed type of operations are being swallowed up by a lot of the majors. Obviously Hexo, Canopy, and Aurora, so forth, are looking to buy things that they cannot make on their own or cannot efficiently produce. I think as one of the leading processor and manufacturer, it's right in line for to appease some of these potentials, but nothing is happening as of now. But right now we're looking at growing our business as large as we can and taking market share as we move forward.
Now, you guys have been listed in Canada. You've been listed in Frankfurt. Congratulations on your Frankfurt listing.
Thank you.
And now I know the big question for a lot of our viewers is, when are you guys going to get listed in America? Any update on when the shares will be listed on the OTCQB venture market?
Yeah, so basically we submitted everything. We paid our fees. I think they're doing the audit now. I mean, with the COVID, it takes a little bit longer. But I think they're also excited. We're very upfront about what we do. The reason that we want to go to the US with much more exposure into the investor base. The OTC actually approached us, initially when we listed on the CSE, because they obviously love the fact that, we're a profitable company in cannabis. We attest to what we do, no debt, and we haven't raised a lot of money. So, from an investor point of view, I think they were excited. So I'm hoping that it's going to, progress, quickly. The anticipation again is hopefully, they usually say between 8 and 12 weeks. It's been about 8 to 10 weeks now. So we're hoping over the next couple of weeks or a month, when they get their ducks in order, we'll be ready.
Fantastic. Now, the cannabis sector is really struggling, overall, and I don't mean the sector, because cannabis companies are making more money than ever before. Like you said yourself, you guys have no debt, you guys are profitable, but yet it doesn't seem to be reflecting in the share price. Now, before you joined us, I looked at True Leaf Cannabis, which is the most profitable cannabis company in North America, and their revenue continues to grow, but yet the stock has gone down from $67 to $30 since the beginning of February. Why do you think this is happening in the cannabis sector? Is there a reason for this? Is this just seasonality? Is this an overreaction? What do you think is the reason why the cannabis sector, even the biggest companies in the cannabis sector, are struggling despite the fact their revenues continue to grow?
Yeah, I think that actually, obviously everybody wants their stock to go up and grow with that. I think, but I think it's not necessarily a bad thing when there is realistic expectations. So either truly for some of the majors, when you're trading at 100 times revenue, it's really unrealistic, and it has happened obviously in the .com, in psychedelics, in crypto, and so forth. But the ones that are successfully succeeding in the business, are maintaining value, and investors are coming to the market and buying. Eventually, they want to buy a company that gives a return. They are not worried about going to bed at night and the stock crashing by 50% for no reason, right? If the company is sustainable, growing, revenues are growing, the investors are going to come, right? Like I think we touched on it before. There was an interview with Jeff Bezos. When the stock, his stock, I think it's a famous thing that a lot of investors came to him and said, "How come your stock is going from 100 to 3?" And he said, "Well, as long as the business keeps growing, and the smart investors are going to jump on and realize that any time along the way, if they do the numbers and they believe in the company and the company performs, they'll get their money and they'll be rewarded." And obviously, people that invested in Amazon have been greatly rewarded. And I think that's a maturing industry, right? Like cannabis is getting matured. The companies that haven't performed and sort of talked a big talk but never done anything, are disappearing slowly, either by acquisitions or closing down. But the ones that are coming forward and doing sales, doing profitability, growing market share, I think the investors are realizing that, or will realize that, and will go for the ride.
What is the potential for Ayurcann Holdings? We're going to have investors all over the world. They're going to see this interview, some in Frankfurt, some in the US, some in Canada, and in other countries as well. What is the potential for Ayurcann? Do you guys have any goals that you've set, or any milestones that you can speak of that investors can really wrap their head around what the potential is for this company? Because you said you guys are EBITDA positive, you guys are growing your revenue, no debt, tight share structure. You guys seem to be doing lots of acquisitions in the US and Canada, and you guys got your online marketplace. So things are really ramping up and moving in the right direction. Can you speak on some of your goals or milestones that you guys are looking to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so I think this conversation is also has to do, obviously, with going into the retail. I think in Canada specifically, the retail exposure is very important. You can go into the millions of dollars of sales quite quickly, and that's what we're looking at. We position ourselves, we extract, I think, as at the lowest price point that is possible. We can compete with anybody in Canada, bar none. We extract, we have inventory in place, that is as large, if not largest, that is existing now in both distillate, isolate, and so forth. And our intention is to take market share. We sort of model ourselves a little bit on Redican, sort of before they were bought. But, really tight operational, have market exposure, take market share, concentrate on things that you do best. Redican never did, edibles or those type of things that they sort of try, or beverages. They try to concentrate on what they feel they do best, and we're doing exactly the same. If we do best, vapes and tinctures, topicals and distillate, we want to have as major market share as possible out of it.
This is a very interesting time for investors. When I was looking at the charts, it looked as though we had a very similar thing happen in the cannabis sector last September, where they just continued down further. And it wasn't actually until November when there was a huge spike. And then it started in November and it went all the way into February. Seems as though this is like a seasonal thing for cannabis. I don't know if you've recognized this. Do you believe that we're going to see a similar thing this fall, where at some point, maybe in October or November, the entire cannabis sector will spike, because last year, when you look at the charts, it's pretty significant. We see a lot of stocks go from their 52-week lows in September of last year to 52-week highs by February of 2021. So literally in that 6-month timeline, you see these cannabis stocks go from 52-week lows to 52-week highs, and now they're going all the way back down to those 52-week lows. So it almost seems like a seasonal trade.
Yeah, it seems like, COVID obviously didn't help, and having, the Ontario market sort of closed, the biggest market in Canada on the retail side. I think summer also took a part to blame, in trading or in the markets. July or August is usually slow. I think there is, financials that are coming out, obviously, not only for us, but a lot of other companies as well. And that sort of feeds into the October, November, rush. I think that people that are realizing that and jump on board will be rewarded, right? Like I think, especially if the companies are here to stay and they believe that the company is at the low price point and there is a good upside, I think they should, obviously buy. I think that that's what happened. I think that the companies are hopefully now that everything opens up throughout Canada. I think it should be a sustainable growth cycle instead of up and down, like you were mentioning. Last year being up and then over the summer sort of coming down. So hopefully this year with everything and some optimism, obviously, and a lot more stores. I think last year also happened that there was a little bit overvaluation because Ontario didn't allow for a lot of stores to be open. So, having sort of 3,000 retail stores now in Canada with over 1,000 in Ontario compared to maybe 200 or 300, I don't remember how many were last year, that's a substantial growth, right? Like, you're basically growing your market segment by 5 or 6 times. So if you're selling into that and you're opening up those relationships, it's very large exponential growth, hopefully on the stock as well as on sales.
So we've talked a little bit about consolidation, and it seems as though we're starting to see Hexo acquiring Zenabis. We're starting to see Tilray acquire Aphria. So you're starting to see a lot of this consolidation. I think some of the consolidation is because companies can't exist on their own. They're just not capable, or they have problems, so they bury them by getting acquired. For the investors that are looking at Ayurcann Holdings Corp, are you looking to be acquired, or are you looking to be a standalone company that wants to acquire companies?
So our strategy right now is to look for acquisitions. I think there are different opportunities and ability to grow, especially on the brands that we are already producing for. It makes sense, obviously, to buy into them or buy them, especially if they have SKUs on the boards. It's automatic top line revenue for us and synergies of what we do right now. So we are looking and continuously keep on looking and actively look for acquisition opportunities. We haven't done any yet, but there are some that are obviously available that we're looking and assessing. But I think, like you were saying, I think that there is, especially of our CapEx and how we operate, I think we bring a lot of value into an acquisition. So we rather acquire, and grow the company substantially, if possible, obviously, before, sort of being a pain in the ass, I guess we would call it, to some of the majors that would need to, come up and have a discussion with us. But that's sort of our strategy. Our strategy is really to take market share. We feel that we can, with the ability to produce product, inexpensively, manufacture it quickly, turn it over much faster than everybody else can, bring new SKUs to market, and just take market share. Market share sort of demands by the investors. We are there, doing it profitably and on a continuous basis.
So right now we are at a point where it's just for Ayurcann, you're just starting to gain exposure, right? Ayurcann Holdings is starting to gain exposure. You now got the Canadian listing, you got the Frankfurt listing. Soon you're going to have the US listing. And I also noticed on your press release that you guys are doing a lot of investor relations. You've acquired 3 new groups that are going to help create more visibility for the company. Can you speak a little bit on that and what your plans are with that?
Yeah. So, and I think we touched on on other interviews that we had, because we haven't raised any monies. So the exposure, the investor awareness was very minimal for Ayurcann. So we decided that, obviously it makes sense. Every small company, or every company usually in the public space, does hire and work with investor relation firms, IR firms, PR firms. We decided to start slow, have a few that are very nichely targeting, what we want to do and get our message out. We don't spend money lightly. We want to make sure that we get, a bang for the buck. I think the intention is to participate not only in this current, IR, PR exposure, but on a continuous basis to bring the message out about Ayurcann as much as we can, anywhere that we can, because I think we have the right story to tell, and we want the investors to hear it.
If there's one thing you want investors that are watching this interview today to know about Ayurcann Holdings before we say goodbye, what would it be?
That we are here to stay. We are a real company. Like I said, debt free, profitable, and growing. And if people believe in us, we go the extra mile to make sure that everybody benefits from it.
Well, congratulations on your recent acquisition and news and the recent move in Saskatchewan. IGAL SUDMAN, the CEO of Ayurcann Holdings Corp. Now, remember, guys, if you like these videos, please smash the like button, comment down below, share the video everywhere, and subscribe. Also, remember that Rich TV Live is strictly for information and education purposes. Please do your due diligence, do your research before you invest in anything that we talk about or discuss here in Rich TV Live. In saying that, IGAL, I went through your chart. I went through your low and your high. Right now, you're sitting very close to the low. I think that the upside is tremendous for this company for many different reasons. Growing revenue in a growing sector, no debt, tight share structure, and a management team that clearly is willing to do whatever it takes to grow the company and gain exposure. So I believe this is a company that has a great future. I'd love to know what you guys at home think. Just comment on the video. Let me know. This is Rich from Rich TV Live with the CEO of Ayurcann Holdings Corp. IGAL, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, and we'd love to invite you back again. Seems as though you always have big news. Love to invite you back with the big news. And if there's ever anything you want to talk about or discuss, we'd love to invite you back here at Rich TV Live in front of the community. And remember, guys, if you guys would like to learn how to trade, you can go to richpicksdaily.com, where you too can join our trading club, trading community, and you too can learn how to be a profitable trader. This is one of the picks that a lot of our members are starting to buy. They really believe in it, IGAL. Like, a lot of our members are buying the stock. So the fact that it's down is actually a good thing for investors because they want to get it cheap. The question is, when will it have its big run? My prediction is, based on the way the market has been trending, I have a feeling that we're going to see cannabis stocks really have a nice move back up between October and November. Because when you look at the charts, which I was doing earlier, between October and November of last year is when we saw all of these cannabis stocks start exploding from 52-week lows. I have a feeling we're going to see something like that again. But stay tuned. Get your popcorn ready. We bring you the winners, and we bring them to you first. Thank you for watching. Thank you, IGAL. We'll see you soon. And thank you for watching, everybody. This is Rich from Rich TV Live, talking about Ayurcann Holdings Corp. Have a nice day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, IGAL. Have a nice day.
You too.